Live tonight on American Zombie. Like to say what's up to everybody. Darkest Night, good to see you, brother, man. Thanks, bro. Secret Consciousness, salute, man. Always good to see you, man. Hanging here with Jamal Green. New Year's Eve. Figured I'd come on for a little bit, see what's going on, who's available. And yeah, man. Yeah, definitely would like to go into the new year and become smarter, to be smarter, more aware of what's going on, and that's really what it's about. To go forward and say, I learned something and became a better person because of that. So let's get into the 2026. Rowing our boat into 2026 because 2025. What do we got? 3 hours left here in New York. 2 hours and 59 minutes. And even that, this is not the new year. We've already talked about it. This is basically the new year is April 1st. The new year is when the spring starts coming in. That's they try to put us in the state of mind. Trying to think. I had the picture. Let me see. New year. Not didn't come up there. I know I saved it somewhere. It's a pretty good picture that I made that shows the reality of the new year. It's spring, man. It's beautiful. It's something where life is coming back into bloom, not daylight depression time, where daylight depression time they take away some of the daylight, and then in the middle of winter, which is basically the end of the year, they they try to be like, look, this is the new year. It's very depressing. It's very depressing, man. I can't believe these guys setting off fireworks, man. It's like sometimes I, it kind of boggles the mind. But then again, the laws of stupidity always ring true. That's why the stream titled "How to Be Smarter in 2026." One, don't be blasting off blockbusters on New Year's Eve, man. I can't believe this. This is crazy, man. People are people are bugged out, man. But New Year's Eve, I don't know if Jamal is busy with something. Oh, okay. He said he'd be right back. Cool. Yeah, I was looking for that picture, New Year versus midwinter, because that's basically it's the beginning of winter. Winter, the solstice was just on the 21st, and now it's beginning. It's March back to the longer days of the year. So every day is getting longer. So I could understand in some sense that it's saying, oh, the days are getting longer to get into the spring where people can eat and start growing certain foods in the northern and well, not the southern. In this part, it's the northern. It's summer over in the southern hemisphere. That's the most amazing thing that I think a lot of people, everybody has their beliefs, but science overrides, or reality, as we could put it, overrides that because it is summer. I've been to the southern hemisphere, and the seasons are different. The seasons are different. So it's like midsummer. I remember going there in like March. It was just 90 degrees, 90 degrees. And this is in the southern hemisphere, not by the equator. You're looking down by Argentina. And it's different. Now I know people that look at the earth in a different way might try to contest that, but reality is reality. And hey, it might be something that for me to learn on it, just to say, well, I think it goes according to the seasons. That's what I see. The sky was totally different, but again, we'll move forward into 2026 being smarter, better people, thinking about how to improve ourselves. Hopefully we'll learn new things, but as the saying goes, you get smarter by losing an illusion than learning something new. So, not to say that learning something new isn't good, it definitely is, but to lose an illusion actually really has a lot to do, it gets you thinking like, wow, I thought that was something totally different. Like we already saw with voting. I mean, you save a lot of time by just realizing that, yeah, man, why am I going to stand out here with the crowd doing something that basically is like a ritual? I don't know what type of energy they pull off of people with that, but it's like what you're doing out there at that poll is not putting the person, in my opinion, into office. It's something else. We know electoral college has to do with it, but even that, it goes behind the scenes. I mean, we saw yesterday on Crime and Punishment how it was just it's like, you know, you got somebody with 30 something counts of felonies, man. I mean, somebody said in the chat that that requires a mandatory, like a mandatory minimum, I think, of a year. But again, no fines, no penalties. And the thing to learn from that is to learn the true nature of the law, to say, well, it applies to some in some instances. And if people say, well, no, the zombies might come and say, no, it's fair. Justice for all, you know, and liberty and justice for all. I could see them waving the flag with that, not even being a veteran, getting very, very, very patriotic until it's time to serve. And then it's like, well, you know, they start backpedaling on the unicycle when I don't think people should be forced, especially certain people can't physically, but they should understand what's going on. I mean, just the whole concept of an army, it makes me realize like, wow, we got people that don't know who they're fighting. Again, separating the warrior from the scholar to get wars started by cowards and fought by fools. Oh, just follow the orders. Go do this to that person. Well, why? Why? And how much does it cost? It's constantly costing people. Mark, good to see you, man. Yeah, it's war ain't cheap, man. I think peace is cheaper in many senses. If we could talk with people, war is actually a failure of communication or not wanting. Well, not wanting is a failure as well. And again, goes back to one of the other streams, the epidemic of immaturity. Are we in an epidemic of immaturity? And that seems to be when we just look at the expressions of some of these guys. And it's just, I mean, beyond childish. It's like a dangerous, that expression looks like a psychopathic child that never had to do the right thing because they had a position of power. And when somebody says something against them, like tries to wake them up, like, look, the world doesn't revolve around you. There's other people on this planet. You get these faces of how they look. And this is the true faces. This is, you know, they say there's a mask that everybody wears, and then there's a mask underneath that, and then the one that they don't show anybody. Sometimes that one, that mask that people don't show anybody, sometimes it's seen. It's sometimes the other two fall off and you get these pictures here. And that's when you see who is really what, you know, the reflection. You can look at something like this pile of metal and it reflects something totally different. That's another way to become smarter in 2026, is to see that what you might see might cast a reflection of something else. So in other words, what somebody might produce casts the reflection. It's like if you look at the metal parts here as maybe chemicals, and then the reflection, these are metal parts casting a reflection of a woman. Now, chemicals cast a reflection of pollution, but people don't notice that. They will listen to a fairy tale and think that it's just going to go away naturally when they're finding stuff everywhere, basically. But that is, and then of course the Pac-Man analogy, man. Yep. I mean, that is so deep, because it's like you look at the game, munching tablets, listening to repetitive music in a dark space. And what did people do 10 years later? Running around dark rooms, munching pills, listening to repetitive electronic music. That's exactly, I mean, it's Zombie Spectrum 101. That's what it is. I didn't put the main spectrum in one of those videos just to let you guys, yeah. But yeah, man, this is the new year coming in, and I don't know if people are gonna make New Year's resolutions. And I mean, why would you have to wait for New Year's to make the resolution? Why? Why not just when you feel like doing it, let's do it. I think that's the ritual. I think that's another part of a ritual, the New Year's resolution, to where people are like, oh, um, I'll make a New Year's resolution, and if I don't keep it, I could just, stay undisciplined for until the next New Year's. And that's how years start to add on. They start to pile up. They start to grow. What that saying is, you're young when you think a month is a long time. Months fly, years fly, decades fly. When decades start flying, you're becoming more aware. You're starting to realize, like, whoa. And time is definitely relevant to a person's age. It has some way of being relevant to a person's age, man. It just it is what it is, man. Let me just check the thing. Yeah, man. I was gonna put up that, I can't find that picture of the New Year's thing, but I'll see what comes up with that. How to become smarter, man. Remember, losing an illusion. Losing an illusion usually makes somebody a lot more aware than just learning something. If you keep learning something and your cup is full, sometimes you're not gonna really assimilate that learning. It's just gonna flow over the top. You gotta you gotta look at your beliefs, which fills that cup up with unnecessary stuff. And if you have it to where you can accept something new or exchange it or expand a belief due to being able to change your mind, that's a big thing. That's a victory going forward in common sense, intelligence, being able to change your mind according to the evidence. That's a very, very big thing to do. That is like one of the first steps of maturity, being able to change your mind according to the evidence that you see. And when we were talking about teaching children and stuff like that, yeah, I think courses need to be made, certain things, so people can teach from these curriculums. So better than a course, a curriculum to be made to say, look, to be able to change your mind according to evidence goes into many different aspects. People, dealing with people, when you know that somebody's going to do some irresponsible stuff, you learn from that. You change according to that evidence. You don't hang out with them too much because you risk things happening. That guy, what's up? He says 99% of people who make New Year's resolutions don't follow through. Yeah, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
How's
And
it?
B, God beyond, I'm sorry for being muted a bit earlier. I was, like something came up. I'm gonna be off and on a couple times on the stream tonight, but I
Mm-hmm.
definitely have to join the stream, man, because New Year's, the New Year zombie, right? Because I have to say this because I went to the gym yesterday, and the amount of people in the gym were insane, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I realize, oh, New Year's is about to come up. All these zombies are trying to do the New Year wish, the New Year's resolution BS that they keep on doing every single year. And I'm just like, oh, so I went in there. I had to get out because there's the amount of people in there was really really bad. And I came in there at a time where it's normally not that busy because I'm the type of person that likes to work out mainly alone. I've
Mm-hmm.
been moving more towards working in my house more than in the
Yeah,
gym.
much better.
But yeah, I know. Like I've been doing it a little bit more lately, and it's just man, it's just a lot better.
Yeah.
But when I went in there, I was just the amount of zombies that was in there. It, it was triple to quadruple the normal amount that it was.
Wow.
And all these people, they come in there, they do it for a couple weeks, and then they take a break day, and that break day turns into a week, turns to a month, and they're like, oh well, I guess this year like I didn't make it, and then they just say, well, I'm just gonna wait until next year then, and then the cycle continues. The cycle continues, man. The New Year resolution zombies are the same type of zombie every single year. They never change.
Yeah. Yeah, it has a way with dragging on. It's tomorrow, man. The fictional place where all 99% of the potential lay for some people. You know, I mean,
Yes.
yeah, they act like, okay, they'll make a resolution, do it a little bit, and then when they don't go, the New Year's resolution seems to give a person a whole other year of procrastination and say, oh, well, next
Yes.
year, yeah, you know,
Next year I can do a thing. I just need, it's only 11 more months. For these 11 months, I promised to myself it's the last time I'm going to be undisciplined and I'm going to keep eating McDonald's and junk food and all this other stuff. It's like, man, these guys just don't wake up, man. They do not wake up. And,
yeah,
I love the stream title of How to Be Smarter in 2026 because, I mean, there are multitudes of ways for a person to be smarter. And MD, if you want to go first with like in your opinion, MD, what is the number one thing? Like, if a person is a zombie and they're watching the stream right now, what is the first thing they should do immediately to become smarter and to become more awoken?
is to embrace change, but as they're embracing that change, is to stay curious and ask questions. So again, being able to change our mind, to say, okay, what do we think this year in 2025 that we might be able to change our mind about going into 2026? And if a person can't change their mind about anything, and any of us, we start to see how, well, we know we can't be right about everything. So there has to be something that if we think about it, we start to say, okay, yeah, maybe I need to expand or learn, staying curious, asking questions about to seek clarification, to build deeper understandings, to say, okay, what am I honestly here for? We know that people have to eat and work and stuff like that. Besides that, we're all gonna go into the next, whichever thing it is. Some people have beliefs about it, but we really don't know what it is. So contemplate our existence is extremely important, and ask questions by being curious. That's a big part of it. Learning continuously. With the internet at our fingertips, it's like we can learn in a day what it would take weeks to months to learn in a classroom. That, like, the slowing down process that they put us through in school, I think that also has people procrastinate. Because if somebody were to study a lot in one day and look up a subject, they're grasping the concept at the speed that their mind can handle it, that they can assimilate it. So there's no having to be slowed down by the rest of the class. You immediately choose your position by how well you assimilate the information. So it's up to you. And it's at our fingertips. So it's like, wow, what do I really want to learn? But also, what can I learn to make me a better person? What can I learn? Human psychology. I mean, when we see that politics and voting, just the entrenched corruption, and it's not to get mad at it, it's to understand, okay, this is the way it works. It's not the way I want it to work, because most people say, well, I want it to work a different way. Well, it doesn't work that way. It works this way. And I understand you think that you can change something, but when every bit of change they have taught us to do is to ask somebody else to change it for us. Oh, vote and ask this person who seems to have not lived a very law-abiding life, very deceitful, very corrupt. Ask that person to change things for the better when we have never seen anything change for the better. I mean, the fact that we have somebody there that is guilty, basically has been convicted of felonies for things dealing with money. I mean, that should say a lot. I mean that's a serious thing. It tells people, I mean, the so-called commander in chief is basically a felon. So in a way, I'm glad that that came out to hopefully mature people up. Like there was like some some famous musicians that talk about, oh, he's a felon or he's this. Well, your commander in chief now is a felon. Now is it not as bad? This will show you the immaturity of some people if they make an excuse for that and still are prejudiced towards anybody else who's a felon. It now learning that and being able to change your belief of that person or what your position was, that's a very important thing to say, wow, rule number one is very, very true. Trust no one. And rule number two says, see rule number one. And not to say that you can't trust anyone, it's just saying don't just give your trust to anyone like that. Understand that that can change. That when you trust someone, that can change. That's a very important part of maturity, of being able to change your mind, which is, I would say, from your question, that would be one of my biggest things. Knowing, being uh, having the ability to change your mind it's priceless. Calix, good to see you, man. Cheers, truth seeker. Happy New Year, yeah, man. So, what would you change, Jamal, if you for the New Year?
Yeah, so MD gave a good, he gave the first step, which is just you pretty much accepting change, right? And pretty much to get more into that is to realize that whatever you were told, you are about to change your mind if you are awakening when you're watching this, right? Which I know there's not much zombies watching this. In fact, there probably will only be one or two that come across this, but that's the point though. If those one or two can be awoken a little bit, that means a lot. But I mean, you have to realize that the number one thing as well to me is stop believing what they said. Stop believing what they say. And who is they? It is every single zombie out there. It is the educational zombies, the political zombies, the junk food zombies. All of these zombies, whatever they tell you, whatever studies they show, whatever anything that it is, you have to not stop believing them. It is zombie information to zombify you more. And the reason why you are zombies is because you were raised in this environment by these zombies. You know, if you're going into the New Year's and you truly want to change, you need to delete all those apps, the McDonald's apps, the Burger King app, all those apps that put points in them. The more food you buy from, just delete all those apps. Stop going to junk food. If you have to eat out, at most eat at a restaurant, at a sit down restaurant, but you just don't eat outside anyways because you don't know what they're putting in your food. Stop eating the junk food. Stop listening to the news. All the news apps you get, delete them. BBC, CNN, MSNBC, all of them are political zombie fuel. Because why do they always? I mean, think about it, the news only talks about politics. You know, like it's like the only other such, but like the only thing I see them talk about is just the weather, which is like a small, like 5 minute segment, and then it moves straight to just some stupid political garbage. The news is the source of majority of the political slop that you get. In politics, I promise you, politics does not have as much of a meaning to your life as you think it does. They make it seem like politics is everything, but it's not. So you as a zombie, you need to stop consuming the news because it's going to zombify you, make you political. It's going to make you racist, or it's going to make you a a crazy liberal. It's either those two that it takes you down because all the news does it shows you very skewed studies and skewed news sources and everything. So stop watching the news. Turn that crap off immediately. If you subscribe to any news, unsubscribe from that. That's probably the biggest one is to stop consuming the news. It's slop, right? So that's the next way to be smarter. The third way is your friends and your family, right? Listen, I guarantee you, your friends and your family are giving you, they truly do care about you. But here's the thing, though, right? The minute you start asking questions or you show that you're a little unzombified, you might start seeing your family and friends change, right? So it's best not to engage with them about any like topic that we speak about, because they, we have something called the Agent Smith effect, which is when they become Agent Smiths when you start questioning things. And trust me, they will pull that off. So don't engage with them about that stuff. If your friends are sports zombies, if you're a sports zombie, stop going out with them in regards to sports. I'm not saying stop going out with them at all, but don't engage with them when it comes to sports and whatnot. Stop watching sports. Stop doing any of that stuff. Sports is a complete zombie land. It's a circus. It's zombifying you to cheer on a random team filled with billionaires chasing a ball around while you're watching the screen, drinking beer and celebrating. Just no. All right, it's pretty much, it's a humiliation ritual. That's what that is. Like, if you are a grown man doing that, it's just humiliation. It's disgusting to see that. I mean, I, I can't imagine just doing that anymore. Like, it's just like when you are not a zombie and you look at that, you feel bad, but at the same time, you laugh at them because it's just embarrassing. So don't engage in any of that. Don't listen to any of the news. Don't listen to any of the crap that he's pushed down in your throats. Don't engage with any type of political zombie. Okay, political zombies are extremely dangerous. They will drag you down. You cannot convince them. You cannot awake them. Okay, they are just brain rotted political zombies who think that going to a voting machine that is controlled by the government is a way for them to change the government. Right, this is how zombified these guys are. Right, so don't engage with them. Right, avoid the junk food because the junk food has an effect on you that just makes you less of a man. I'll say, not that makes you less awakened for sure, right? But you have to let go of that stuff. And it doesn't matter what the sport is, boxing, UFC, does not matter. You have to get rid of them. Also, I do want to thank friend Leos. That's how you say. Thank you for the Thank you for the $2, man. We support you supporting the stream, and I'll let MD thank you personally himself.
Yeah, thank you, Finleos. I appreciate that, brother. Good to see you. Happy New Year, bro. Always a pleasure, man, to see you in the chat. This is Jamal is talking about some real stuff. I mean, the negative impact of the news, if anybody can look it up, increases anxiety and depression when people watch negative news. And usually all the news is the majority is negative. Learned helplessness is another thing that can happen. It can lead to despair and a numbing effect of not feeling like you can do anything. Physical health impacts are stated. Anybody can look it up on Google and look it up on many studies, links that they talk about constant state of high alert. And we see a lot of these people, like Jamal was saying, can get into very um, opinionated things. Awaken Zen, good to see you. Boxing and UFC is hard for me to let go. Yeah, me too. I had a hard time myself in trying to let that go. Mr. Dummins, also the government and police have full immunity to lie. Yeah, that's really, really, it's crazy when you think about it, man. It really is. The fact that I think becoming more aware, very important. Like Jamal said, reducing the amount. Doom scrolling. So there's a doom scrolling phenomena. The modern 24 hours news cycle. Uh,
Avoid the like shorts. I
well,
mean,
they
like the
yeah, it's kind of a design of social media platforms. In some senses, they're saying encourage a thing called doom scrolling, mindlessly consuming bad news for extended periods of time. This addictive behavior exacerbates negative feelings and interferes with healthy activities like sleep and in-person social connection. We see this with people when they get like to where they can't interact socially with a person. Anything they say is to find out where the other person stands politically or religiously or in some type of an opinion. Finleo says, yes, the New Year's grift, bro. Yep, the New Year's grift. That's exactly. Today is basically, uh, it's a day that is pushed to bring a person into Fantasy Island. Everybody gets inebriated, which, okay, people want to take time to relax. Great. But in a way, I wonder, does making the New Year's resolution weaken a person because it has them wait until a certain day? So a couple of days before this, people were doing things saying, I'll change when for New Year's. So New Year's, I'm going to do this behavior now that's not beneficial. But when New Year's comes, I'm going to make a resolution and change it, and then keep that for about a month, and then the other 11 months, I'll do what I do, and then decide when it comes to December that I'll make another New Year's resolution. So could it be conditioning people in that way to lose a type of discipline? Because at any moment when somebody wants to change for the better, they can do that. They could say, hey, you know what, I don't need to wait till New Year's, I can do it right now. And then again, the real new year, the real new start of the year is more based on when life and everything starts becoming awake, not really when everything's going to sleep. Because even though the days are starting to get longer, this is more like the end of the year going into a time where the season starts getting a little longer, but it's going to take at least a month or two, especially in the northern latitudes. In the equator, it's summer all day long. So that's another thing too. When you look at things like that and see the differences of where the planet is, New Year's affects in a whole different way. The illusion of the New Year's thing can't really affect as much if you're not living in the northern hemisphere. Because think about it, if you're in the southern hemisphere, it's summer. It's summer. The first day of summer just hit in December. And it's going to be hot. When I went in March, it was super hot there. And here, March is getting warm, getting ready to come back into spring, not necessarily summer. And then by the time June, July comes, we're in the middle of summer, August, and that's the middle of their winter. So we see the differences and we start to say, oh, you couldn't play that. It's a ritual. Yeah, it's a very much, Mr. Super Sidewinder, good to see you too. It's a ritual and it's a New Year's gift. It total a New Year's gift. Exactly. Yeah, it just it's a ritual, bro. Yeah, it's definitely totally. Jamal, did you have anything to add or?
Yeah, yes, it's a complete ritual. This, the whole holiday stuff is a ritual, by the way. This stuff is just like on these particular days, you have to act like this. I mean, Valentine's Day to me is one of the stupidest things ever. So on this one day, you should show appreciation to your significant other. Like what? You should be showing appreciation to your significant other every single day. But no, on this one day, it's the one day that you should appre- appreciate your significant other. It is stupid. Holidays are just, it's like we're machines, which we are. Human beings seem to be like machines. We really are. Where we have to act a certain way on certain days. You know? I mean, even our daily lives is the same. The most common work schedule is 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and they get 2 days off, Saturday and Sunday. And it's like that, not even before the age of 18. It's like that when you go into preschool. You go to school 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. You stay in school for about, 6 to 8 hours, and you get 2 days off. They instill this into you as if you're a machine. And this is the when you awake to this stuff, you just like you go insane because you can't comprehend the fact that people are used to living like this and were forced to live like this. So like when you start waking up like this, you start noticing things like that. Just the holidays, just how stupid it is. I mean, and then they also got months too, like in June it's Pride Month, and then in I forgot the month, but it's Black History Month. I'm just like, this is all stupid. Like on this particular month is when we should care about Black history, right? Not every other day, just this specific month. We magically have to care about Black history. It's stupid, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. It's like it's no time like the present. I think it like Mother's Day and Valentine's Day. It says, you know what, you don't have to care for the rest of the year. Just whatever you do that's neglectful, just do something on this day, and that makes it okay. Kind of like a um a thing like saying, okay, we'll make a day that doesn't allow you to see that you should appreciate the time you're spending with somebody. Mother's Day, Father's Day, it should be every day that people appreciate, or at least just say, look, you know what? There's going to be days that we can do things together, and it doesn't have to be on one day out of the year. It actually kind of seems that it instills a kind of justifiable neglect to neglect people throughout the year and say, oh, when this day comes, I'll be good, and I'll acknowledge them. And instead of just saying, you know what, holidays, it should be spelled DAZE, where it puts people in a daze, to where, yeah, like the weekdays. It just the weekend of the deal. It's crazy. Like words, when we think about it, the weekday. Why not work during the strong day and get the strong end? So we're on the strong end, or
Yep.
the
Yes.
strong part, right?
And MB, I guarantee you over there right now. I'm not watching any of this crap, but I guarantee you over there right now in New York, there's like a bunch of people just huddle up in Times Square, just going, just standing there looking at the clock, getting ready to celebrate the next year, acting as if it's going to be the exact, it's going to be completely different than this year. Like these people go and celebrate Happy New Year's. It's going to be the same exact thing as last year. Taxes will still go up. The economy will still be trash. Dating will still be trash. I mean, it's just nothing is going to change. But they're going to go up there and act like a bunch of clowns dancing around, celebrating about this whole New Year's and saying I'm going to be different this year. I'm going to be different. It's just a clown show.
It is. I mean, Sidewinder got a good point. The Juneteenth oddball stuff, just to, again, hollow days. That's a really good way to put it, Forge in the Flesh. Good to see you, man. Hollow dazes. Yep. The hollow dazes. The people are in the holy days. We got the link pinned to the top of the chat if you want to hop on. I think that's the mind. Forge in the flesh. I think that's the mind. He comes on
Yeah,
and gets, yeah, pretty deep.
we gotta get some people in here because it is New Year's. We gotta get some people in here. In the mind, you are interesting, man. You drop some good points. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's but to get more back on track with 2026, man, like and 2026, right? So if you want to legitimately be smarter in 2026, right? We were talking about how you have to avoid politics and social media and whatnot, and how you have to really kind of be aware of your friends, right? Because MD Short explained it himself, where if your family can't get you, then your friends will, and then the education will, and then your job will, everything, right? So you have to be aware of that and not have them affect you, right? You have to if they talk about anything about either like politics, dating, education, and pretty much those are the three main things. Oh, and junk food, right? Anything they talk about those topics, you should avoid, right? You should not take the information in, right? And you should just not fall into that trap that they will do. But if you want to be smarter in 2026, what I would recommend, right, is you need to get off of social media as fast as possible, right? We've already talked about the news and whatnot, but social media itself is a zombification. Now, it's not totally bad because obviously the stream is an example of that, but social media, 99% of it is zombie city. Twitter, get off that. Right? Twitter is horrible. Reddit, get off that horrible zombification on Reddit and YouTube. 99% of the channels on there, zombie city, just a zombie apocalypse, right? So you should avoid, like Mr. Beast, for example, one of the most popular YouTubers. I mean, this guy is just complete zombie, man, complete goddamn zombie. Like I, like I can't imagine anyone above the age of even 12 enjoying his videos, but he gets millions upon millions of views. You know, all these other guys. I mean, like MB. I don't know if you heard about it, man, but like these like monks walking around. I mean, I've seen videos of these monks walking around. They're like walking to DC for they're trying to like make peace. It's something like pretty damn stupid. And people like there's like hundreds of people following these guys around, and they're all going crazy over these damn monks. And I'm sitting there, I'm just like, I don't give a damn about these monks walking around. But I do want to welcome the Mind on. Mind, thank you for joining, man. It's always a pleasure having you on. Glad to see you here tonight.
Yeah, what's up? Hey guys, I want to say I'm glad to join you all tonight. I was just letting my phone charge a little bit because it is on a low percentage, so I'm not going to be doing too much talking, but I will jump in. I'm just my phone is on the charger, so I need to run to the unmute button. But
Okay.
yeah, I did want to come in and support. I just I'm letting my phone charge up a little.
Cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Mr. Super Sidewinder says, yeah, they spend the tax, right, to buy illegal fireworks to celebrate their independence. It's ridiculous, man, when you think of that. The fact that just to celebrate what Independence Day, man, it's just people like to believe in fairy tales. They really do. It just yeah, man. That whole news thing, Jamal's right. You got to be careful, man. What you consume mentally is going to affect how you behave in many ways. And the fact that they say you can get learn helplessness, it can impact you physically. Rapid heart rate. I mean, people, they use this clickbait sometimes to try to get people to, automatically, oh, this happened. So and so thinks this about this other person. Who cares? Who cares? Now, again, losing an illusion can help you more in many instances. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it can.
And the whole
It's
the holidays. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if you've seen these monks, if you saw them on the news, man, but I mean, it's just it's the stupidest thing. It's just people walking to the capital of the United States, and there's just hundreds of people around them, just going crazy over these guys. I'm like, these guys don't have jobs. Like, there are entire families going to see these monks just walking to the DC, and like and taking video of them and like just dancing around. I'm like, it just the zombification is insane. The zombies are just they don't whatever entertains them, they just go and do. They don't care about anything else. It's man, it's insane when you're woken up like to this stuff.
Yeah. Their life becomes based on entertainment. So now it becomes kind of crackheadish to where they always got to get a fix, something to distract them, because that's what entertainment means. To entertain, people should look the meaning of that up. Entertainment, and to entertain is to distract, to hold the attention of, to divert the attention. And that's all they have to do is to distract you. And what do we have? We have entertainment, to amuse them. So it's basically giving attention. And again, we know that definitions are slowly but surely getting twisted. People, especially when we see the definition of evolution as twisted, they've even changed other definitions like homology, which it's similar features, but now it's supposedly similar features due to common descent, which is just ridiculous. Yeah, it's really I think it was Jonathan Wells wrote a book, and he was saying it was called Zombie Science, actually, and he talked about that. He said they changed the definition from the similarity between structures to now it's genes or traits and different species that arise from a shared evolutionary ancestor, which is not true. That's the propaganda. It's like, wait a minute, they don't know. This is like the fact that they're trying to push that so hard. I guess if somebody could snap out of one of those illusions, that would be an extremely good thing for them to experience during New Year's. Mr. Super Sidewinder says, entertainment means to enter and hold the mind. Pretty deep, man. Pretty deep. Yeah. Yeah, this is yeah, the changing of definitions like homology, the evolution, the whole entertain, the the news affecting people's mentality and physical being, limiting consumption of that is very important. Or or being able to look at it and pick it apart and teach others. Sometimes they say we teach that which we need to know best. So also when we teach somebody, we learn twice over. So you become a better teacher as you teach more and you learn the material better too. So it benefits the teacher and the student because the teacher
Okay,
starts to become much more versed in it.
I want to jump in here because I was thinking about this recently. Speaking of teachers and knowledge and stuff, that reminds me of when it comes to like kind of the system we're in. It's because I was thinking about this whole freedom thing, and they say like we're land of the free, right? But uh, we're we're in the land of the free, but ignorance is no excuse, and no one is free from ignorance from the like the clutches of ignorance, right? Everyone is ignorant of something, and especially when it comes to the law. So that's kind of it. I was just thinking like, yeah, it's crazy how when it comes to what we need to know or understand, they try to kind of keep that from us. Like it's either paywalled or there's there's just some type of obstacle that's in the way when it comes to certain like understandings. Because if you want to know how the legal system works, obviously they tell you well, you need to get a lawyer, right? Like the authorities always can tell you what you can't do, but they never tell you what you can do, and that's a part of the whole unbalance of power. They want to keep you as ignorant as possible, and again, distracted. They want you to focus on all these other things, and then when you ask all the right questions, they're like, "That costs money. You can't be asking that here because that's not my job to tell you that." It's like freedom, the land of the free. Like, how is it free when I'm trying to figure out my rights? You're telling me I got to pay for that.
Yeah, that's really crazy. If you got to pay for justice, is it really justice? It makes you wonder, right? It's like, what exactly is it? I mean, it's a tough wake up call. It's a really tough wake up call for some people. They'd rather stay in Fantasy Island because it's more comfortable. What do they say? Life begins when you step out of your comfort zone. That's really where it's at. To just
That's
say,
where the
hey, yeah,
that's where the privileged and the oppressed come in. Like the privileged wants to act like there's no oppressed because they're living in comfort.
yeah, yeah, we do see that. I mean, we see we see people. Well, we see them walk around. That's part of the zombification to many people. They just they want to be. They seek zombie. They'll turn the news on to refuel their zombification. They're like, wait a minute, I'm starting to become aware. Let me turn on the news real quick. So stop that right, nip that right in the bud, man. So they as soon as they become aware, there's a whole like hidden protocol that people don't even know they're engaging in to continue staying zombified. And we see this with ourselves when people see it in eating. As soon as you start eating healthy for a while, next thing you know, you break it. As soon as you exercise for a certain amount of days or weeks or months in a row, then something happens. Instead of staying disciplined, there's always a point. As soon as you start waking up about something, as soon as you stop consuming the negative parts of the news a lot, then that moment comes where they're like, oh, you know what? Let me watch this mind numbing content. And it is hard to watch, to keep yourself focused and disciplined on certain things like that. But the results are worth it. To get results that you see that make you better, you will feel isolated, like how we all, people who listen to the show, feel in a way where, hey, there's not many people to talk to about these subjects. How many people can we really get to talk to about this? It's very rare. CD, good to see you. He says, question for the panel. I got charged. Wow, dangerous driving. Police saying you were going above the limit, but by the black box data, but you're saying you got rear-ended another guy with a worse charge, dangerous driving. Wow, that's serious, man. Why did I get charged? And where? I don't know, man. Honestly, I can't give you legal advice. I cannot give medical or legal advice. All I can say is that that's a really tough situation, man. I think you should seek legal advice. You should really seek counsel from somewhere. That's serious stuff. Just to say, you know, and I'm saying that because staying within the parameters of the show, the YouTube guidelines, very important, because we want to keep having these conversations. So it's really it's very important to be able to say, look, this is as far as the extent. But yeah, man, I hope you can find something that helps. Yeah, that's a stressful situation, bro. That's a stressful situation. Yeah, that when I think about it, it's like, man, yeah, it's a tough one, man. It's definitely wow. Yeah, yeah. I would say, oh, all right, Jamal says he'd be right back. Yeah, I thought I had uploaded some clips of the zombies of society. I'm gonna make another thing soon. I just figured I'd hop on today for about maybe an hour or two. I know people are gonna yeah, you know, people are gonna do their New Year's stuff, and that's cool. I mean that's why I figured I'd do from 9 to 11 instead of like go over into it or too far into it, because people want to celebrate, they want to do their thing. You know, celebrate, that word, like celebrate, sell a vibration, like a celebration, like what could is bration? Bration is that like a suffix, right? It's or does it have a separate meaning? They say bration is like it is kind of something to do with vibration. It's a standard English word, usually appears as a suffix in a word. So afterwards, like celebration, a festival or a festive occasion, or vibration, meaning to make merry or to shake. So to shake the cell as in cell, maybe the cell of the body, maybe the invisible cell that we feel in, the invisible prison cell, or cell like
yeah, that's thinking.
Right?
Yeah, either the body cells or the invisible like mental cell, one of the two.
Yeah. So we're shaking, to make merry or shake that cell, the celebration. So we're shaking the cell, and it can also be a playful take on words, as in a fail-abration, a party to share failures, if you mean beration. So instead of beration, so like berate, harsh criticism, is deep, you know, while celebration is deep thinking. So the bration suffix, and this is where words are so important. It's vibration. The rapid vibration is a rapid back and forth motion or feeling. So therefore, to make merry or to shake. So to shake the cell, is it because we all feel like we've been working in a cell for the whole time, and we're just like, yeah, man, this is crazy, you know, and now we're shaking the cell. We're having a celebration to get some stress off of being in this invisible cell, which are made up, the bars to the invisible cell are made up from the expectations of others. We shouldn't care what somebody else's think. That's what makes the invisible cell. To say, wait a minute, the bars to the cell are me thinking, me valuing what other people really think about me. And that should not matter. That should not matter, whether it's good or bad, because it's saying, okay, great. I'm happy that somebody would think better than worse, but I can't let that define me. That only defines the bars of the invisible cell that we keep our mentality within. And like the political and the religious cells that they put us in, that we allow them to put our minds in, that we step into that cage. We build that cage. And then when a cage gets too much, we start to shake it. We start to celebrate. We start to make it merry. So maybe it can really be looked into this definition as you get a little more, you can shake the cell like the way a zoo animal will shake the cage bars to feel better. Like, oh, I did something. I got that out. And this is really why they have, I think, these things like the Super Bowl and these other so-called, bred in circuses, shaking the mental cage that you're in to feel a little better, because you're trapped mentally. This is a really deep way of looking at a celebration, because it's to vibrate, to rapidly move back and forth, emotion or feeling. So the feeling, to vibrate the feeling now. Now we can get deep into that. Celebration, the word itself, is a real deep word when we look into it. It's like, whoa, wait a second. So we all can think about the analogy that we're living in, like also a type of mental cage, like a prison without walls, they call it. But the invisible bars of the cage that we live in mentally to stay within the parameters of a failed society, of a monstrous experiment disguised as civilization. Because to treat each other civil is to treat each other with compassion, caring, and respect. We don't really see that, not from the government. So how is it called a civilization? Technology does not make you civilized. You can be a barbaric bunch of monsters with technology. And that's what it seems like. Oh, we're going to, you think about it. People, immature, homicidal, maniacal type child behavior coming from people that are posing to be leaders, always threatening to do something to somebody else. And as soon as I say that, these guys start blasting off fireworks. Oh my goodness. It's like Mr. Super Sidewinder said, illegally buying fireworks to celebrate your freedom, right? Like, what an oxymoron is that? Like, it just, and they really think that they're shaking the cell. They're popping off, man. They're like, look, man, we independent, bro. It's like, yo, kid, I'm making a New Year's resolution, man. I'm making a New Year's resolution that I ain't gonna keep. And then I'll be free for the rest of the year to let stupidity rule. And then coming around after about 11 more months, I'll make another resolution. That's what I'll do. Yeah, man. I'll do that. Then I'll celebrate. I'll shake the mental cage that I've been in all year by celebrating. Matter of fact, I'll shake it a few times a year, because I'll go through these rituals of shaking the cage to vibrate it, to move it back and forth mentally, to think that I did something, and if I don't get enough celebrations, I'll go to celebrate. I'll go to sports celebrations. I'll go to the top-notch brainwashing on celebrities. So now you got a celebrity, you celebrating a celebrity. It just, when I look at that type of idolatry, it kind of separates. You have a choice: separate from the herd, observe, become that scientific researcher type of person. It's hard to walk the line, because you will fall in the sheep pen, and it'll be comfortable. You say, hey man, why should I want to think, man? Thinking is hard. That's why most people judge, like Dr. Carl Jung said. So celebration, to celebrate. There's so many ways to look at it, but if we look at it definitively wise, the bration it usually appears as a suffix, and it's to
And
shake.
can I just say one thing real fast?
Huh?
I just want to add one thing. I just want to say I'm glad that I'm neurodivergent because I didn't fall into half of this stuff that most people do. Okay, that's it. You can continue.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for neurodivergence.
We want to explain what that is.
That's just basically where like people have a different way of thinking than the majority, so they just come to different conclusions.
So it's called neurodivergent.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't know if you want to type it in the chat so people can learn if they don't understand the word, learn a new word. I've heard it before. I just wanted a clarification of it. Neurodivergent. So that means thinking about different things, being able to think about different things, like having a diversity, divergent, maybe.
Well, I think it's literally like people's brain wiring and chemical makeup is different than the majority, so they just they react to things differently and just draw different conclusions and stuff.
Okay, I typed it in. It says differing in mental or neurological function from what is considered typical or normal, frequently used with reference to a spectrum of certain types of, they say disorders, but when they say disorders, it's just meaning something they don't understand. It's really a spectrum of behaviors, really, not neurotypical. So, neurodivergent, they try to say that the person someone who is neurodivergent has a brain that functions, learns, or processes information differently from what is considered typical, which is a good thing in a way. It's like, wow, you learn in a different way. There's different ways to get to the same path. So that we know to be true. Some ways are better. Some ways are easier. Some ways you learn better. You can do it easier. So they're saying stuff like autism, ADHD, dyslexia, OCD, and it's viewed as natural human variation rather than a deficit, highlighting unique strengths like creativity. That's a big one. Focus or detail orientation alongside different social or sensory experiences. Wow. Wow, that's kind of deep, man. Yeah, that is kind of deep. It says, what are the 11 types of neurodivergence? So the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder affects focus, impulse control, but affects it. You see, affects. That doesn't always mean a bad thing. Affects it in what way? Could be affecting it in a different way that we don't understand, that could actually be beneficial. Autism, dyslexia, dyscalculia. So dyscalculia, I got to look that up. That's a new word. See, this is the beauty of it. This is the beauty of the internet. Dyscalculia. So dyscalculia.
That might have to do with math, maybe, right? Because calculators are like math based.
Well, it says here 18% of kids with ADHD have dyscalculia. These conditions, it's not, let me see, what is the definition of it? A condition of neurodevelopmental origin that causes difficulty in performing arithmetic calculations,
Yes, so math.
arithmetical calculations. So just the way dyslexia is something to do with reading, right? Dyslexia?
Yeah. This one has to do with numbers.
So dyscalculia, I guess, would apply that to a math, like you were saying. And dysgraphia is a neurological learning disability, it says on Google, affecting written expression. So not only with the reading is dyslexia, dysgraphia is the writing, dyscalculia is the mathematical computations. This one, dysgraphia, deals with handwriting, spelling, grammar, written. Wow, that's some deep stuff, man. See, this is it's so easy to learn with the internet today. It's beautiful. And
Well, and with the
dyspraxia.
guy, wait, it wasn't just the internet. I also was the one who said the word too, right?
Oh, definitely. You brought it into research. You're the one that
To the
you're the
conversation.
pioneer. Yeah, you're the pioneer that brought this up. That's the beautiful thing, that to have smart people like yourself and others. That's why I was saying whenever you come on, you always bring something good to the conversation. Vegan skeptic too, man. He's deep. I don't know if you've ever gotten a chance to speak with him on the show. Vegan skeptic, the vegan skeptic, bro. He's
I've
like
heard,
you, bro.
I've heard his name thrown around a couple of times. I mean, like I said, some chick introduced me to your show, and I think she's actually said his name before. Like she thought I was that guy. I don't
Bro,
know who
he,
he
you
is.
and
I
him
think
would
I've
have
seen him
a
around.
yeah, I could just imagine how deep that conversation would be because you guys are probably two of the most deepest people that come on the show. I have to admit, he's really deep, bro, and you're deep too. So, I could just that would be a great conversation to listen to because you both have that, like you were saying, the neurodivergent. I got to hand it to him. He had like a really good conversation with Scribe a couple of days ago on one of the stream. I think it was Christmas. On I had yeah, I was like, wow. So yeah, if he comes on, I've noticed that too. Wow. The chick that hipped you, was it like a Shar or Tasha or anybody like that? Cause or maybe
No,
who's the other girl that used to come on? Uh oh man, she was from Oregon. Oh Davy? No, not Davy. She was oh man, she was an Indian girl. So it was somebody
no,
different.
this chick's Australian. Yeah, she's an Australian chick.
And she listens to the show?
Yeah, I don't think she's ever been
Wow.
on, but yeah, she listens.
Yeah. No, there's definitely women that come in the chat. I think Divine Hazel now recently was coming in a few times. Really cool person from Gnosis's stream. And but yeah, then no, I appreciate that she turned you on to the show, man. And then you add a lot to the show too, so that's even better. See, that's like finding good people to say it's more than just a listener, where listeners are much appreciated just as much. Also, that like people that add in come on the panel, man. That really, yeah. If he comes on, I figure vegan sketch. I mean, maybe he's busy tonight. He's like he does a lot. He trains martial arts. He, vegan. Make sure he eats well. Researches a lot of stuff, and like yourself, yeah. The neurodivergent thing, I have heard it, but yeah, you made me like look into it more tonight. So I think that that's a really good thing. Dyspraxia, that's developmental coordination. So having maybe different with that. Tourette's syndrome, sensory processing disorder, SPD. They make up a lot of these things, but they can be like put into different looking at it in a different way, like especially when they put the word dys in front, like dystopia, dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, dyspraxia. It could also be looked at as, maybe another word for a prefix instead of dys, like a different. What are signs of being neurodivergent? So differences in social interaction, intense focus. Look at that. That's actually really good. Sensory sensitivity, executive function
Yep. But if
struggles.
they want you to be, if they want you to stay like, all dumb and non-focused, of course this would be considered a bad thing, right? Intense focus and stuff.
Well, really, it's not. It's actually they want you to think that, but intense focus is required for doing very complex jobs and complex accomplishing certain uh tasks. Intense focus, reading,
I know. I'm saying they
learning,
want you to be
writing.
zombified. If they want you to be a zombie, they don't want you to focus. So they're gonna try to put
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
that's even good in a bad light.
Yeah. Now, intense focus can be used, it's how you use it too. If somebody's too intently focused on like sports or like one of the zombie categories, music, certain things to
True.
where they lose, sense of
That's true.
reality. But it's also the good side of it is being able to accomplish serious tasks that could not be accomplished without intense focus because you'd be distracted. And what do they say? A fool, right? It was a saying that I had wrote down. A focused fool can accomplish more than a distracted genius. So it's focus is king right there. It's saying that, hey, it doesn't matter if you're the most smartest person in the world. If you're focused, you're going to accomplish more than a person who's distracted, no matter how smart they are, showing you how focus is so important. And we see this a lot with people that succeed in certain sports that aren't the most naturally gifted as first, but they concentrate and focus so much that they become above average to the point to where they become Olympic level athletes. They become high level because of their focus, not because of their natural ability. So with somebody with natural ability focuses, now you get somebody on another level. You can get another level. But talent, there's an old saying, talent has a nasty knack to make people lazy. So if somebody that's talented, they're most likely, it can really make you it can make you lazy. It can make you, you have the skill. So it's like, hey, you know what? I don't need to work hard at it. And that allows the person who isn't naturally born with that skill to surpass the person that is naturally born with that skill, due specifically solely on focus, due to focus, to say, wow, focus is extremely important. So in that way, somebody who they would say is a signs of being neurodivergent is actually a benefit. The fact that they can intensely focus. Sensory sensitivity could actually be an early warning system to say, oh, this person's very sensitive, but why are they sensitive? Maybe they know something that they don't fully know or can't fully explain in words, but they know that their senses are sensitive to something, letting them know not to be in that area. And we see this with people that get electronic vibration sensitivity, like from electronic signals. This is known to mess with people. Matter of fact, there's experiments that anybody could look up about stuff like this. So this type of stuff is how people would get smarter for the new year. Like how to become smarter in 2026 is just what we're talking about. Being open-minded, able to change according to evidence, able to change a belief according to new evidence. So to say, okay, this is what I believe. It's not 100% fact. And if I think about it, so now it becomes an opinion. It's more than belief, but it's less than positive fact. Now, if it is in agreement, if it's in what's the word? Like if it's not similar, but if it basically, agreement with facts, now that thinking, that opinion, that it's more than belief, but less than a positive fact. But if it adheres to the evidence, now it's a fact. Now it's saying, wait a minute, it's not my
in alignment. Because you said in agreement, I was thinking in alignment, maybe.
Yeah, alignment.
Words.
Yeah, that's actually a good way of putting it. Yeah, actually better. Yeah, it's a better way of putting it. That it's in alignment with the evidence. So now it becomes a fact. Now it's not just a belief or a thinking with belief, which is an opinion, but it's still less than positive knowledge. But now it's like it's positive knowledge because it's in alignment with the fact. So the belief that something like just believing that saying, hey, you know what, I think that if we could build an aircraft or a craft that would fly, and if there's no planes, it's a belief. But if you think out the schematic and you say, okay, I have the blueprint, I thought it out, so it's more than a belief now. If I can get this thing to work, now it becomes a fact. And now if it flies, you say, look at that. It's no longer a belief. It's more than my opinion. It's a fact that if you build or construct something in this manner and stick to the physical laws that is required to provide lift and all of these other things for aerodynamics, it flies. That's a fact. It flies. And before they would say, well, according to physics, a bumblebee can't fly or a dragonfly, so the helicopter's not going to work. And that was a belief that was proven to be wrong because somebody thought about it, drew a schematic, figured it out, and then created the physical apparatus to fly in a helicopter form, showing that this is a fact. This is not a belief. So we see how beliefs can be transformed into facts through thinking, experiment, testing, and finally success at accomplishing the goal that was first set out to be accomplished, which is flight in many cases. And as we see with flight, as we see with electricity and other stuff, that it seems to, archaeology points toward it being re-engineered. So that's another thing too. That's a big, losing the illusion that history goes in progressive steps forward. Losing that illusion will make you smarter than learning another historical fact. That could be a fact, but it doesn't add to understanding that, wait a minute, a lot of these other things you thought were facts are not facts. Losing that illusion is much more important than learning another fact that could even be wrong. Even if it's a fact that's because that's the thing. How can a fact be wrong? And that makes us more aware too, to be like, wait a minute. So it's not that the fact is wrong. It's that they're telling us things are facts that aren't actually facts. That's a very important, that's a psychological way of looking at it, to say, wait a second. So things like evolution, which they parade around as a fact, they write these textbooks filled with non-factual, unscientific premises under the disguise or the lie, some might even say, that it is a fact, when it is not a fact. When they find a bone in a certain level of dirt and they say it's this old, there's no way to test that. People say carbon dating and all of that, but when you go back into what they say, hundreds of thousands of years, not even millions, but just 100,000 years, they will admit that carbon dating can't test that old. But magically, this belief in the strata being below each other, having to be a certain age, which they still don't know, but they're going to take a guess. That is not scientific. And if anybody were to go further and study experiments in stratification, they'll see that different levels, or what appear to be different levels, different layers of Earth, can actually be the same age, because Mount St. Helens proved that. When it erupted and then the pyroclastic flows carved through the volcanic ash and rubble that had been erupted and settled, and then the pyroclastic flows carved through that, it showed layers which were developed in days to months. So it did not take years even, or much less millions of years, which if somebody would have saw it, would have said, well, their belief, their opinion, because now they're thinking, oh, it's not my belief, it's my opinion, but they're going to lie and say it is a fact when it is not a fact. So understanding the difference, being able to discern that, and constantly test it, because the zombies will come at you by saying, no, evolution is a fact. No, it's not. It's not a fact. And that zombie is so deeply embedded with that belief that they basically, that's why it's called a belief. They believe it. And belief is not based on science. Belief is based on a personal preference, a bias. Most of the time, they believe that somebody might be better than somebody else because of a certain natural attribute. How is that a fact? No, it's not. It's a preference. It's a belief. Usually based on a prejudice that is fueled by someone thinking that they're certain, that they're sure, that they cannot be wrong. So a person can be wrong. Facts that we know will change. There are changeable facts. Your age, you change. You were younger last year than you are this year. So the fact can change, but there are some facts that stay static. You can't breathe underwater. That's a fact. That's it. You can use apparatus, but you're not breathing underwater. You're breathing air through an apparatus underwater. You're not breathing water. You can't do that. That's a fact. And how do you know it's a fact? It's testable. It's empirical science. Go dip your head underwater. Go walk into a pool where you're submerged. You can't breathe underwater. It can be tested by anyone, anywhere, that they have those type of facilities, whether it be a lake, a shoreline, a bathtub, a bucket, something to submerge the head in to see if it's testable, to see, does this, oh, it does. I'm not advocating that anybody do that. I think people already know you can't breathe underwater. That's a fact. It can be tested, it can be repeated, it can be measured. Saying that something is millions or billions of years old because it's in a certain layer of earth is an opinion fueled by a belief that was cultivated by seemingly a prejudice installed by the religion of evolution. And yeah, I just wanted to say that and kind of let people know that this is learning 101, to say how to de-zombify yourself on New Year's Eve, how to become a smarter person in 2026, to not repeat some of the ignorance that we've repeated in the previous years or decades or in our entire lifetime. I mean, that should be a pretty easy to accomplish goal in 2026. We accomplish it right now in 2025. In the last few hours, last hour and a half of 2025, we are learning. We are saying, wow. So now I'm going to become smarter. And I don't hear that much. I don't hear when people make a New Year's resolution, I don't hear them say, I want to become smarter. My resolution, my thought, my goal is to become smarter, is to become more aware of things that I am unaware of right now, to learn. That to me is a pretty good New Year's. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to ask. I did write a song. I was wondering maybe if you could play it before as like an outro to your show or something before the show ends.
I would, but it's like YouTube is very strict about. They say even, and you know, when I had to read and go to YouTube school for like some of the videos. That's why a lot of the older videos are private and stuff. It was and I didn't know this until I read through the rules. They say you can't play somebody else's video even with their permission. So even if you give me permission, it's against the YouTube guidelines. Now, some people will do it and get away with it. But yeah, I mean, we can put the link in the chat to people check the song if you want that. We can do that. But as far as, yeah, that's why I'm very careful about showing. Everything I show or I talk about is something that I myself either created or is reading off from, you know, a reliable source or something. But I appreciate it, man. Black Circle.
I thought I would interject a little bit of my
Go ahead.
Thinking, but it's fine.
Yeah, please. You want to interject or?
Oh no, I would say with some of my actual music, but it's fine. I'll next time maybe one day in the future.
You know, if you look into even if you type it on Google, you'll see where it's like people can do it, but they don't allow it. Like I have another channel which deals with archaeology and stuff, right? And even though I can take a video from there and upload it here because I own both channels, they're saying that's not allowed. So even with permission, and I think they do this just to minimize their work on anything that would be copywritten. Because let's just say somebody takes your music, right? And they upload it to a channel and they're making money off your music. So you allowed them to, but they're making money. Oh, and then there's somebody else that does it and you didn't allow and they're making money. Now they have to go into saying, okay, now we got to spend money to find out, to pay somebody to say, okay, do you have written verification from you, the mind? Is your channel verified? Because your channel would, they're getting very strict with the verification for the age. So if your channel is verified, now they know you're who you say they are. And now if you giving written permission, it's saying, okay, now we can let this other channel, and it gets very, very cumbersome. It gets to where I can understand why they just don't even want to deal with that, where they're just like, look, you can do it, but even if the person gives you permission, it's not in accordance with the YouTube guidelines. And they're getting a little bit stricter, which I tell people, look, if you want to be a YouTube host, you got to abide by the rules. It's like Jamal's a pilot. He knows there's certain things you can't say, which are ridiculous. The fact that you can't talk to other pilots and stuff, but they'll say that you're not mentally fit to fly because you're asking questions about certain things. And that's crazy. That's saying that's the epitome of what would be classified as the thought police. Policing our thoughts to say we cannot do this. And I know that saying, hey, you know what? I got to abide by the rules and I would love to play it, but in accordance to the guidelines, I could put the link. I can't play it on the show. I can put the link though.
It's fine. You're good,
Yeah,
MD. You don't have to.
I'll promote it for you. Yeah, I'll definitely. Yeah, we put it in the chat.
Okay, I got you. I think you're right, but literally, just for the record, I think I think after like the first, I don't think we have to go on for more than like 20 minutes about you saying why you don't have to, because I definitely understand where you're coming from. But I want to say that does come into where Jamal was saying, like, it is good just to get off of social media altogether, because it becomes real restricting, right? Where you can't even like sing a song or like say certain words without all of this, restrictions. So it is good. This is why I said to people, it is good to meet in person. Like if you're going to do stuff, if you want to actually do like communicate and connect and stuff with people
with songs,
online, that's what they want us to do. They want us to be online, and they want to do this mass monitoring and this separation thing. It does help us to a certain extent to communicate, but there is a lot of mass surveillance and what is it called, censorship and stuff that goes on with this. So
I mean, I would love to do it, and I don't mean to like harp on trying to explain why. It's just to say that I want you to not be offended. It's not anything like me not doing it because I don't like you, or no, I'd really like to promote it. The second best thing is to promote the links. Like say it was a big channel. Say I went on a very big channel and I said, hey, can you promote something? And they're like, yeah, sure. That's just as good. Yeah, it'd be nice if they play a little bit of it, but just to say stay safe, it's like, okay, promote it. You can also drop the link in the regular comments. I think you've left links to your songs, and people can check them on previous streams that you've left in the regular comments. Usually I don't, YouTube will have a thing where you can't just leave, it has to be checked. And then once it's checked, then it's like, okay, then it's approved. And now the comment shows the link to your channel or to the video that has the artwork on it. So yeah, Black Circle, good to see you, brother, man. Happy New Year, zombies. Yeah, man, this is New Year zombies. There's not really much to say about the resolution, because we know that we don't need New Year's to have a resolution, but it would be nice to become smarter for 2026, where we looked into the celebration and all of that. Then we looked into how to become smarter. If somebody would like how to become smarter, learn continuously, right? Challenge yourself, new subjects, strategies. Um, read. Read is something, or listen. There is a difference. There is a difference that reading and listening to something has. So reading definitely has a different effect, and I would encourage reading as well as listening. But reading is extremely, and writing. Writing has a power to it, even if it's typing. But writing cursive also has, they say, it has a very, very uh, different benefit as to writing without cursive. Um, and now kids, I guess, for the last decade, almost two, have not been learning cursive. That's the craziest thing. There's even some people that's almost 30 that say they don't know how to really write cursive. And it's like, wow. When I think about it, there are differences. There's ways when you write cursive on how to properly join certain letters. So, like, if you're writing ER, it can be written with the cursive E connecting right into the R. But if you're writing OR, the O has the finishing swerve on the top, and then the R would be connected to that. So if I remember correctly. So cursive is very artistic when you're writing cursive. Yeah, definitely very artistic type of thing. Yeah, David W. Thanks, man. Yeah. Sober up, get some sleep, man. Yeah, we might be on for a little while no longer. I'll see what happens. I didn't plan on a long show. I know people are going to celebrate coming to 12. In New York, it's 10:32, so we still have almost an hour and a half before New Year's. I remember I used to wake up to watch the Dick Clark stuff in the 80s and the 90s. And yeah, man, when I was a kid, my father would always be working on New Year's, but he would call me from the airport and he would say, Happy New. He would always manage to call right on the dot. And I was like, how? I was like, this is amazing. We'd be watching Dick Clark and we were kids, and he would call, wish Happy New Year. And yeah, I mean, New Year's is Fantasy Island. Again, we see that they keep us, well, we keep ourselves in a state of mental control. It's like Aldous Huxley's painless pharmaceutical prison camp of the mind, where we build it, we must love it. So he says it's not enough to be in a concentration camp. That's not good enough. You have to love being in that camp. You have to defend that camp. You have to reinforce the walls of that camp. Yeah, it just David says, I'm in London and I remember you guys were hours on New Year's Eve last. Yeah, we definitely stay on sometimes for a while, man. We definitely do. It's yeah, just we might. I'll see what happens, see how many within the next half hour, how many people come on. I usually play one of my zombie shorts and stuff like that so people can I have it in the the video section. So I'll play piece of the video that is in the video section. Yeah, man, I'm wondering where Jake is at. You're right about that. We definitely, good to see you, Alexis. This is piece. I'll play piece of the video from the zombie spectrum.
The zombie spectrum contains 8 main categories, all of which are meant to control the mind of someone who is unaware. Today, we'll focus on the 7th category, which is politics. Only those who can see through the illusion will notice how politicians transform while speaking to other zombies. But most of the time, they'll be able to contain it and regain their composure without losing support from their zombies. This type of behavior can be seen taking place on both sides. Whether it's red or blue, the zombie always slips out.
Ask not what America will do for you.
The population of voters don't care because they're just as zombified as the creature they worship that lurks behind the podium. Once it regains composure, it's business as usual, and the parade continues to drain the intelligence of anyone who believes them.
Which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve.
Then, the political zombies will search to infect others that still have the ability to think, but logic and reason will make them retreat. This forces them to break character and reveal themselves for what they really are. This type of behavior can be traced back in part to the fifth category in the zombie spectrum, school, where students are forced to sit and listen until they become zombified by the teacher. And if we interview the parents, one may realize that they themselves are zombies in disguise. They can play the role, but if you're a survivor who knows where to look, you'll begin to notice what's hiding just beneath the surface. They push their children to follow zombified teachers until that final...
Yeah, I have the full video in the video section. Yeah, I guess Jake, I think, Jake is probably out there, man. Probably out there doing his thing, Yeah, we used to go for a while, man. Times change, But New Year's, I was thinking about staying live for a little bit, but people are celebrating. I don't know how many people. You look at the title of the stream, How to Be Smarter in 2026, on a night that people are celebrating, shaking their cage, basically. So I can understand that they want to let that type of stuff out. And but I figured let me do an hour and a half just to keep the streams going every day. Hopefully soon, it'll start to pick up once I produce the book. I did want to edit a little more tonight. But we'll talk again soon. You guys take care and have a great new year.